What if I told you that there is a way for you to heal every part of your life, your greatest outer frustrations, struggles, and challenges in a way that is not only healing, but transforms you and your life in the process? Luckily, especially for us women, there is. And this is rooted in ancient goddess mystery schools, and it is the most powerful process of dark feminine healing work. There's three very powerful phases of this that once we embrace this journey, it transforms everything. It liberates you so that you're no longer dealing with the lack, the limitation, the fear, the struggle in love, in abundance, in success, in fulfillment, in your well being, in your spirituality, in all these different parts of our lives. And you're truly free to flourish in every way. From my own experience and leading clients in 2012, nothing has been as transformational and powerful as this sacred feminine work. And I'm really excited to guide you through it today. So, welcome. My name is Simon Corral, and I'm a divine feminine mentor, healer, and author of the best-selling books Goddess Reclaimed and Manifest Soulmate Love. And I guide beautiful women like yourself to heal your greatest blocks, manifest your boldest dreams, and flourish in every way into the goddesses you are. You can find me at flourishinggoddess.com. The first phase of dark feminine healing is initiation. And this is the challenge. What is that pattern? I would love for you to write in the comments right now. What is that one thing that if you shifted it and cleared it, I wave a magic wand, the thing that you're praying for, you're searching for, you would just love to be free of. You would love this obstacle, this challenge, this pattern to finally be completely healed and released in your life, and ideally in its place to have your actual desire, right? To be free of it. So, what is that challenge that's shown up for you? And from the goddesses, this is actually a gift from the dark goddesses of initiation, initiating your transformation. Oftentimes, when we are settling, we are sacrificing, we are compromising, we are not even being honest with ourselves about the situations, the relationships where we're not being true to ourselves, or we're not really getting what deep down we know we deserve. And we'll know this because that part of our life is where we're experiencing the most pain or frustration, right? And it's really draining our Shakti, our joy, our radiance. So giving yourself permission to acknowledge, okay, this challenge, I'm done with it. And if you don't, the dark goddess comes in to initiate you into that wake up call, because the dark goddesses, right, and we have them in all traditions and all names, and you don't have to know them right here. I hope to share them with you to awaken that memory. And I have a lot of videos here for you to learn more about them. But from the warrior goddesses to liberation goddesses, from Kali to Lilith and Oya, from all times and places, they are actually very benevolent. And they come into your life when you have been settling for too long, right? When you have been compromising for too long, when you have been tolerating for too long, when you have been in that unfulfilling relationship or draining career, a toxic environment, an unsupportive or imbalanced friendship, right? You're living somewhere where you hate, or, just, and think of any part of your life or what you share with me in the comments of where it's not what you want and it's not even healthy for you, but you've been afraid to make a change, or you're trying to fix things, but you're dealing with a problem head on, right? Or maybe you're even doing inner work, but it's not really creating that breakthrough and that transformation. Like you keep finding it shows up in a new form. That same person that you're dating, you change who you're dating, but that same pattern keeps showing up. I had this with my jobs where once upon a time when I worked in the corporate world, I would keep changing a job and keep finding myself seeing the same pattern with very abusive and toxic bosses and work environments until I went on this initiation with the goddesses in this and many other parts of my life. And initially, it's very uncomfortable. In tarot, this can be like the death and the Tower card. It's that kind of energy, right? It's Galliuma level energy. And the dark goddesses are not patient because they know what you actually deserve, right? That you deserve to be healthy, well, abundant, loved, respected, honored, supported, appreciated, to be, very well paid in your work and valued in every part of your life, in every relationship. So when they see that you have been tolerating for too long, then that is the moment that an initiation from them may come in, right? If you haven't started doing this yourself. And sometimes that can be really drastic. It can be, getting fired from that job that you've been wanting to leave for a long time, but haven't had the courage to start your own business, or you are met with divorce papers, or the partner cheats on you, or it's like a really drastic end to a relationship that's abrupt, but it wasn't serving you, and you deep down already knew that, right? So it's almost like when we become a little complacent or comfortable, or we feel afraid to make the change happens for us, and that is the key. It's happening for you. So initiation shows up in many different ways. I have learned now to embark on it on my own. As soon as I realize that something is out of alignment, I get into this dark feminine healing work. But dark feminine healing begins with initiation from the dark goddesses as a wake up call. And the wake up is, life has brought you this outer obstacle, frustration, or challenge, not as a test and certainly never as a punishment. That's something I had to heal because of my background and my childhood wounding. Sometimes when I would face a test like that over and over, it I uncovered spoke to a deep wound around punishment. And that is a root that I uncovered as part of this process that I finally cleared and healed and liberated myself from, that freed me in so many parts of my life. So this initiation will come from the dark goddesses presented as your challenge, but that challenge is your catalyst, right? The pain that it brings up becomes the actual portal of your full healing and liberation, because they don't mess around and they want you to go to the root to really heal and clear beneath, 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 not the surface level. That's why a lot of times for us women, mindset work, affirmations, I've been blessed to have talk therapy, and they're very supportive, these practices, but they only go so far. My clients who work with me are often psychologists and therapists and healers themselves, and they'll say that this process that I guide them through of dark feminine alchemy and healing in a single session or initiation, they clear and transform oftentimes decades of self-work and healing work. It is that powerful. So phase one, to ground this in, is the initiation. It is the wake-up call with the pattern that is actually here as a portal to your freedom, your healing, your transformation. And this prepares you for entering the next phase where your healing actually happens. If this is serving you and you would like to go deeper into experiencing dark, divine feminine healing and alchemy, I would love for you to receive a beautiful and powerful gift from me called the Goddess Trilogy. It is 3 very powerful, much deeper goddess masterclass level activations that are my gift to you. So I will leave a link for you to give that to yourself, where I lead you through rituals, goddess activations, for you to begin to clear that energy and go through these mini transformations right along with me. So I would love for you to receive that. All right, now we are delving into the next phase, which is the transformation. In dark feminine alchemy and healing work, this is called the descent with the underworld goddesses. The underworld goddesses represent our shadow, our unconscious, our even it's all that's hidden, right? All that we can't really access in the day-to-day, where our human self is just kind of meeting that frustration head on, or doing surface level work on the outside to try to heal and clear and fix this frustration and this challenge. The descent is the most ancient way of the divine feminine. Goddesses like Inanna and Ishtar themselves have descended in the most ancient tales into the underworld to die and be reborn again. And so this is where we bravely and courageously, whether of our own choosing or the dark goddess's initiation, really delve us into uncovering the root cause. In my work, this is why I know my women, my clients say that in a single experience like this. So, as an example, in my goddess mystery school, the Awakened Goddess training, right now we're in this phase of the dark goddesses and initiations 2 and 3. And I've had, I have doctors and therapists, and they were saying a single session has shifted lifetimes and timelines and ancestral patterns of lack or fear or unworthiness, and so many patterns. And it's because the goddesses go to the root. And the root it's spiritual. It can be inner child. It can be, so I know that for myself, right? Earlier in my healing work, I would do different kinds of healing. I would do an inner child healing work there, and forgiveness there, and past life regression here, and ancestral work, right? So it was connected but a little disjointed, and there wasn't a journey to it. It was a little sporadic and random and very helpful, but it's like a single experience, right? And it all does help and complement, but the divine feminine process of descent and ascent, or the cyclical nature of the divine feminine goddess through her phases as maiden, mother, crone. As women, we go through this in our wombs. We're connected to this cycle and all phases of creation, life, flourishing, death, transformation, nothingness, the void, the stillness, the silence, the seedling, the rise, a new beginning. So the goddess is cyclical, us women are cyclical, and all of life is cyclical. And that is why for us women especially, this work is so powerful. So when we are either kind of shoved into the descent, or we choose to descend for our healing work, right? Consciously, we choose this process. It helps us to uncover the actual root cause. So imagine the outer experience, the frustration or the challenge that you keep coming across. It's like a weed. And most of this healing work, with the best of intentions, what it's doing is it's just cutting it off at the top, or maybe a little bit underneath the surface. But the descent descends you into the base, the depths of the underworld. In the most ancient, one of the most ancient goddess stories we have, Inanna, the goddess, she sets her ear to the great below. It is the opening lines of her hymn, of her tale. The great goddess Inanna set her ear to the great below, meaning us as women, when we surrender and set our intent to heal at the deepest level, we are being called. We hear Erish Kegel, the dark goddess. I'll have a picture here for you from my book, Goddess Reclaimed, of both the goddesses. But when we say yes to Erish Kegel, to the queen of the underworld within us, right? She represents that strength and power for us to enter the domain of all that's hidden in dark, our darkest selves. This is the dark feminine, your darkest self, your deepest wounds, your deepest insecurities, your darkest fears, all the parts of us that we're afraid to face. We know that starts in childhood, right? And in my work, we go through the lifetimes and lineage lines. We have the courage to face it here with the goddess of the underworld, and they help us through complete witnessing with such compassion. We have a mantra in my Awakened Goddess training, my Goddess Mystery School, that is for our live call portion. We have initiation, and we have a live call, and the mantra has always been, all of you is welcome here. And it's just so healing. So imagine you give yourself that grace. This is what the dark goddess has offered you, is that when you come, and Inanna, the goddess herself, has to be stripped through all the 7 gates, downward into the spiral, downward, 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 In my book, Goddess Reclaimed, I guide you through a beautiful process if you're interested as well. But we are stripped. We're stripped of our old stories, our identities, and oftentimes we might think we want the change, the desired outcome, but on an unconscious level, we're afraid. We're afraid of success. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of love because deep down we're afraid of abandonment. We're afraid of abundance because deep down we're afraid we're not safe. So these are things we don't usually know consciously. But the dark goddesses help us to delve deep, deep, deep to the root of the weed. And I've uncovered this sometimes. I've had for my fertility journey in the first round of my Awakened Goddess training. I uncovered after 7 years of, this random self work, like I was saying, past life healing there, or, inner child there, or working with other healers as well. I finally uncovered the root. And it actually turned out it had nothing to do with my body, my womb, my fertility. It was this karmic pattern, deep fear of, in a really specific way, being safe to have what I want. And in clearing that, I became pregnant on graduation day of the first round of my Awakened Goddess training. So there are just so many miracles that happen when we clear at the root. And same for my clients, right? If they were struggling to manifest their soulmate or have a baby or manifest their dream career or have the success, the feminine way that they would love, they finally uncover, this was the root. And then this phase of transformation is deeper. So divine feminine alchemy is all these phases of the breakdown, right? The witnessing. And eventually there is the reintegration, but there's so many other parts of this. Like feminine healing has to happen in a way of on a cellular memory level, on a physical level. We store so much of our imprints, our wounding in our bodies. Most of my clients, we are empaths, we are highly sensitive, but all women, we are highly sensitive creatures, and we hold our old stories, our pains, our ancestral imprints in our cellular memory, in our wombs, in our energies, our chakras, our energy centers. So divine dark feminine healing offers us this clearing on all these levels, whether it's in your child or your, energetically, karmically, spiritually, ancestrally. There's nothing that's not covered. And it's cleared and healed, witnessed, processed at the root. There's no bypassing. We don't just fix it, we transform it. And here is already where so many miracles happen. I've had women who've said when they started this journey in 13 initiatory journey with me in the Awakened Goddess training or our private work, that at initiation 2 and 3, where we're in this descent, they actually got the raise after being unemployed. So, they manifested the job, but then they even got a promotion unexpectedly, or they wanted to heal or clear karmic romantic relationship, and they end up manifesting their soulmate and getting married, months after graduation. This has actually happened. And right here in the uprooting, the alchemy and the transformation is where you are healing from the inside out. You're not trying to struggle and fix things from the outside in. This is the power and beauty and transformational life-changing power of dark, divine, feminine healing work. So there's so much more I can share, and I do share. So that is why I would love for you to get the Goddess Trilogy. I'll leave a link for you to make sure that you can get these 3 really powerful master classes, and I actually take you through embodied ritual, because the energetic, the connection directly with the goddesses. I have this thing too that, you take 1 step toward the goddess and she takes 1,000 towards you. I think one of the most powerful ways that we heal as well is when we invite in the divine, right? However you connect with the divine, your own soul, God, goddess. For me, connecting with the goddess as women is so powerful. And this can also, again, be at any level that we're comfortable with, as archetypes, as energies, as deities, as your own inner powers, right? As parts of your own soul. So there's such grace, and miracles happen when you not only embark on this journey, but you allow the goddesses to guide you into this healing, into this beautiful life-changing transformation. All right, and part 3 is transmutation. This is turning that lead into gold. It is the other side of the alchemy, is we've gone through the descent and we've experienced the death of the old, and we've been mirrored, we've been witnessed, we've processed, we've raged, we've grieved, we've embodied that healing and transformation, right? We've been so brave and courageous, and we've been held here, and now we're ready to rise. And as we're rising, when Inanna comes from the underworld as queen, she's actually queen of heaven and earth, right? That represents our conscious self, our light goddess self. You're not the same, right? You've now integrated all these other parts of yourself, your shadow self, your ancestral. You transformed and transmuted that wounding and trauma into wisdom and power and liberation for yourself and your lines. So you are rising now as queen, right? Graduating, blessed, coronated by the queens of the underworld, the dark goddesses, the warrior goddesses, the liberation goddesses. And you are now ascending, rebirthed. And in your rebirth, you are more radiant, more powerful, more wise, and then more clear and pure. So in the alchemical process, what's happening is you have been purified. Mind, body, heart, soul, life. In your purification, you are now born anew, whole, and not perfect. We're still human, right? So we're not putting that pressure. There's no perfection here. There is actually the embracing of, I call it, in my world, becoming a full spectrum goddess. You become a full spectrum goddess, equally embracing the darkest depths of yourself, your human self, and your dark goddess self, and the most radiant, divine, illuminated parts of yourself. So this illumination happens, and you're rising. Every cell feels transmuted into gold. Alchemy is turning lead or the base materials and metals into gold. It is spiritual alchemy. And while, Jung and other philosophers and spiritual, masculine approaches have taught us this, the divine feminine way, I find, is just so much more helpful for us as women, because it's in our body. It's like it's in your womb. It's in your feminine psyche. And when you're rising, like Inanna and Ishtar, Aphrodite through a rebirth, like Aphrodite bathes in her waters and was renewed every spring. So many goddesses give us this wisdom. They've lived this as an example for us. You rise, and your grief becomes grace. Your scarcity becomes abundance. Your self-abandonment becomes unconditional love. That's the initial base material turning and transmuting into the gold. Right? Your lack becomes prosperity, your fear becomes your faith, your pain now is transmuted into joy, right? And in embracing the darkness, you rise into more radiance. Your unworthiness is transmuted into receptivity and magnetism. And this beautiful awakening is really the return home. One thing that I'm always so grateful to hear when my clients complete a one-on-one journey with me, or women graduate through the Awakening Goddess training, is always at the end they say, you know what, I initially came to heal this frustration or to manifest this desire. And in the process, I've become a goddess. I've remembered who I am. And the greatest gift for them is not the thing that they heal or receive or manifest, but it's actually that I have come home. I always know I'm going to hear it, but every time I hear it, it just lights me up. That is my ultimate desire as well for my clients, is that, yes, I want you to heal the things and manifest your dreams. But my deeper goal, right, that I maybe don't say overtly is I want you to remember that you're a goddess, and I want you to come home to yourself as both the daughter of the divine and the very channel and embodiment of the goddess. So you rise as a radiant, whole, integrated queen of all your domains of the underworld, the dark self, the queen of earth and heaven. And now you are Lakshmi, now you are Isis, now you are Hathor, now you are beautiful, Aphrodisian, light-filled golden goddess. Because you have allowed yourself to be rebirthed. And in doing so, you've liberated not just yourself, but your lineages, generations before and generations to come. And then you become this light leaderess. And truly, I find that those of us who have these bigger challenges that, usually childhood wounding or, just really tough things, on a soul level, we knew how strong we are. And we decided that we would be the ones to break patterns. You're a cycle breaker and you're a light leader for your lineage. You're here not only to free and liberate yourself and your lines of the old patterns, you are the one who's going to birth new paradigms of joyful and easeful success. It is safe for you to be thriving, vibrant, shining, to have it all with support, with love, with grace, with pleasure, with joy, with overflow, and to be a new embodied living example of divine feminine flourishing. And so inevitably, here, you manifest miracles. Those were me and my clients are celebrating, that dream pregnancy or soulmate arrival or business flourishing and beautiful opportunities like magic. It's like magic is just happening because the whole background energy that was bogging things down, the pipe was all clogged up with the old energies. The channel, even our chakras, right? Energy, it's clogged, it's stuck, all old stuff, right? We carry it, starting at our root. It's all clear. So when it's all clear, you'll feel like life is magical and everything's happening so easily on the outside. The money's flowing, the relationships are fulfilling, the support is arriving, the opportunities come in like magic, they're knocking on your door. You're being, ravished by your lover and promoted by your boss or appreciated and valued by your clients and thriving in your life's work. You're just flourishing in every way. But it feels more easeful because actually you did the deepest, hardest work of the dark, feminine alchemy initiation. You said yes. You embarked on the journey of transformation. And then you rose into transmutation, rebirthed of the other side. I hope this has served you. Let me know in the comments what resonated. I am so passionate about this. There is so much I could share. I could talk like 6 hours in this video. So, I'm not going to. That's why I want you to come and receive my Goddess Trilogy. So again, I'll leave the link for you. It's really easy for you to get that. Just binge watch it and like immerse yourself in this goddess healing and alchemy and magic and rising. Okay, I would just love for you to be supported more deeply and to receive. But truly, this is life-changing. This is life-changing work. And for us women, we have the goddesses who have taught us this from the beginning, how we can heal ourselves. You are a priestess. Like we are these high priestess queens. And oftentimes whether, like myself, it became my calling to become a healer and a guide. Right? I want all my women all over the world to become goddesses. But I just want you to know I've been through so much, right? I had every form of childhood trauma. Then, that transpires into adolescence with all these outer struggles. If I can heal it and truly clear it at the root and manifest this flourishing life of beautiful, abundance and flourishing. I'm a mama. I'm a beloved wife. I love my clients so much, right? Everything in my life is rooted in love and abundance and pleasure and beauty and radiance and joy. And it's because I befriended and still surrender to the dark feminine in this cyclical journey that the goddesses guide us through with their grace and always for love. So we can heal everything. You can heal everything. And I hope that this inspires you to know that any challenge you're facing on the outside or any inner work that you've been doing where you're just not breaking through the way that you want to, and you really want to be free, allow the dark goddesses to gift you, to guide you through dark feminine healing, initiation, transformation, and transmutation into your greatest liberation and miracle dream manifestations. So be it and so it is. It was such a pleasure. Let me know how this served you, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. I'll also leave a link for a deeper dive into this called Divine Feminine Alchemy. It's another video here on YouTube that you can watch as well, but please gift yourself the Goddess Trilogy, okay? All right. So much love, Goddess.